Man, I sure am tired. I'd best go get some rest. Gotta not think about that whole project. It's gonna drive me up the walls if I think about doing it again. Ah, fuck! Ooh, what happened? I gotta work on that pack, don't I? Well, here we go. Hello, my name is Bellflower, and I'd like to open up this video with an apology. This video has been long overdue. With a lot of complications that happened at the end of November around American Thanksgiving, which I had to go to my family's to celebrate, which is not where I'm at right now, Update 5 was not able to release at the end of November, and I officially said that I was going to push it back into this full release, and I greatly apologize. So, to make up for it, I have come to you today to present my great vision. Welcome to the full release of the Starry Skies Modpack. Now, let me say this. Due to the fact that I delayed the 5th beta to roll over into the full release, we have a lot to cover, and I have 10 days from scripting this intro to do everything. And I have, like, 4 days to edit all this footage down to make it on time. So some things are going to get clumped together, and I encourage you to please check out everything this pack has to offer, no matter how little screen time I give it, because a lot of these mods make small but awesome changes. With that, let's clear out the Update 5 content. Now first are the quality of life tweaks. We have quite a few in this update, albeit less than some of the previous updates. Here's what we have to go off of. Merchant markers. Have you ever gotten tired of trying to find a specific job villager through walls while using their outfit as the only recognizer? Say no more. Now, all villagers will have a marker above their head that will indicate their profession, which will make them easier to tell apart. This is also somewhat apparent through walls, just somewhat more transparent. This makes it much easier to find them whenever you're going into a village looking for a specific trader. We also have another feature in this build. If I just go over here, I put myself in survival, and I die. There you go. Now, as you can see, there is a grave that is sitting where I just died. And I can teleport over to it. And I can take the items out of the grave, and the grave will disappear. These graves disappear after a set time span, but will preserve your items, and they are great for not letting your items burn to lava or despawn after only 5 minutes. Very useful, not certain why I didn't add it before, but we are delighted to have it now. Another thing that I can show off right now, with a netherite axe, is a feature that I've had a personal gripe with in Minecraft for a bit now. In Survival Minecraft, you have to punch each of these tree logs down, and with larger trees that are made out of multiple segments like those cherry trees or the 2x2 spruce trees, it can get really annoying to chop down that tree because you have to climb all the way up and then mine it down. And it's just inefficient with your time. So why not instead, through HT's Treechop, chop it down all at once from the bottom. With this mod, trees can now be chopped from the bottom through successive hits of mining with an axe. And this does not apply to any logs that were placed down by players or humans, or placed down as a part of a structure. There are specific flags that call for this to be a tree that makes your base safe from being chopped down, unless you build a treehouse. Then I'd be a bit more cautious about axes. Another issue that I've had with Minecraft is the piglin trading system. Now, provided you can just drop gold ingots or right-click them. but you'll have to drop a whole stack, and that stack can be picked up accidentally by you when you want your loot. There's no way to centrally collect the loot. It's just a whole problem. So, instead of having to do that, I want to come over here but there's no zombie piglins for them to run away from. Why not just have a singular station that allows you to trade gold for piglin barters? Now you can. Using the new bartering station mod, you can now make trading with piglins a reality en masse. The new bartering station allows piglins to grab gold from the table slots, and the table will grab the items that they produce to a certain capacity. So as I do here, with an adult here, it should at any moment now trade with them. See? Does it on a set interval, and it'll collect the items that they produce. Right here. Now, bartering will be much easier. Just don't get ahead of yourself, as it is mathematically impossible that you'll get 1 in 7.5 trillion odds, even with this item. Now, unfortunately, I was supposed to talk about one last mod here. However, I have not gotten it working, and will probably have to remove it from this version. However, keep an eye out for the mod Enchanted Shulkers in future editions, should I be able to get it to work. With that unfortunate announcement out of the way though, be sure to use each of these changes to your advantage to make the best out of each day and make your quality of life go way up. Another section of mods that we're going to be including in the 5th update are the tweaks and rebalances, of which we have a few. Firstly is the Keep Inventory penalty. This mod rebalances Keep Inventory mode by removing some EXP when you die in the mode. So if I die here, after having set it to Keep Inventory mode, you'll see, it says right now I died and lost 0 experience levels, but if I gave myself Balls of Enchanting, you'll see I lost 4 levels. This mod penalizes the usage of Keep Inventory by removing a few levels every time you die with Keep Inventory on, so there's still a bit of a motivator to not die. That being said, graves can keep this from needing to be an issue since you already have a way of preserving inventory when you die. I know that this is a possibly controversial change, so I would love to hear feedback on it from initial players in the community, on my Discord, my Blue Sky, however you want to reach out to me to give feedback, or in the comments section on this change. Another thing is the Keybind Fix. Now, when you have a bunch of mods like we do on this mod pack, you're going to have a lot of keybinds. As you can see here as I scroll through, there are a lot of things that are even unbound right now. And a lot of these need to be bound in order to be able to have functions from certain mods. This is where Keybind Fix comes in. So many mods, having enough keybinds can be a problem. In the base game, if you had overlapping keybinds in any section of gameplay, such as these keys or these keys, it would completely void out all inputs that you would put in for that keybind on all of your input spots. However, with this fix, now you can use one key for several mechanics, which allows you to create a keybind that can be used in different areas of the game. Just be certain not to overlap mechanics used in the same menus of gameplay, or this may not work as intended. Another fix that we have in here, should I say a very deserved one, is double doors. I mean, it's so satisfying to have it. Look, double doors, they open at the exact same time. It's so satisfying. Why wouldn't you want this? However, if you don't want them to open at the same time, you can always crouch and right click, and this happens with all doors that are touching each other as well as trap doors. So I put down a sequence of 5 doors. You can see that they actually all open at the same time. And the final tweak and rebalance that we have under this section is mod menu. This one's another one why I wasn't certain why we hadn't brought it in yet, but you can now see every single one of the mods that we have inside of this mod pack, and this will allow you to research into any specific mod that you're interested in so that you can learn the mechanics and have the best fun you can with it. Now finally, we have the Stars Update 5, the new content that completely changes how you will approach the game. The first of these is actually a mod that we showed off in Update 4's Halloween edition, the Lunar mod. We snuck it in there to kind of hint at this up-and-coming update. Lunar events can now trigger, wildly changing how you go on night expeditions. So if I time set night here, as I already forced one of them to occur, we're going to have a big moon this night. Take advantage of these new moons, such as the minor moon for haste, or the big moon for higher jumps and slower falling. Just beware of the malicious blood moon and the elusive but haunting eclipse. Fear the night or embrace it for its cherished benefits. The choice is yours. Another mod that we've included in this update is Enderman Overhaul. Just like with Creeper Overhaul, this mod adds tons of new Enderman variants to find across the world, bringing more localized life to your Minecraft world. Find them all and snap photos for your collection. Now, finally, if we descend all the way down to the ancient city, we'll arrive at the last big content mod, an optional mod, added in this update. Hallucination. When you enter the ancient city or the deep dark for the first time, you'll actually get a pulse of darkness, signaling the very first stage of hallucination. These will cause figments of your imagination to appear before your very eyes, and create sights and sounds. Will you succeed in your looting, or will the paranoia finally get to you? As you progress to the ancient city and interact with things like skulk shriekers and eventually get near and hit the warden, you'll progressively get more and more hallucinations that may even follow you back to the surface. Now, hallucinate is not recommended for those suffering from psychological conditions that may be agitated by hallucinations. I personally have a friend who recommended that I say this in order to be more accessible and friendly towards those that may not want this mod to cause anything to trigger. So, you can find this mod's file named kyb-hallucinate-120191, and it can be removed without any issues with dependencies. If you don't need an accessibility change, it is recommended that you play with this mod first to see if you enjoy what it brings to the table, as you can see right there. And if you don't like it, you can also remove it through that. However, for those accessibility issues, I totally understand, and hopefully this is the first step of several into making this more accessible for all of you. Oh, and also, we have Peepto Bismuth, because, you know, Scott the Waz, very similar to the Chex Mix mod. Yeah, the power of the gods. Editor, put a Scott the Waz clip on the screen.
What'll it be?
Mario Kart 8!
This is a bar.
Now, before I talk about the content that was always planned for this full release, as well as future content that we're implementing early so that at least we can tune it later on in development, I'd like to give you a reminder. Only around 4% of my viewers have subscribed to the channel. If you are enjoying what I do here, please do consider subscribing. It helps me out greatly in getting seen and helps with growth. And if you want to support me monetarily for this and all other kinds of content I make, streams, videos, all in one access next year, consider checking me out on Ko-Fi, where you can support me for as little as $5 a month, or give me a one-time donation of any amount that you would like in order to support me. I greatly appreciate it, as well as non-monetary support in any way, and I'd like to give a thank you to those of you who are already subscribed. Moving on to the real stuff of this release, we have the stuff that we have been saving, the best for last, the cream of the crop. So let's get into it, starting with our tweaks and optimizations. Firstly, for this version, we have added sodium and lithium in order to make the game run smoother. I know this has been overdue, so I'm very glad that I've been able to add it so that we have the sodium renderer and lithium in order to be able to run this better. We also have iris shaders for shader support, so if you go into options and into video, you can now toggle shader packs. So if I enable a shader pack here and apply it in a second, As you'll see here, we got shaders now. Now, a fair warning, some shaders probably don't look as good with the world gen, and it does override the cool looking clouds and replaces them with whatever your shader pack's clouds look like. So there are these little soft marshmallow cubes behind me. But if you're not a big fan of the clouds that enhanced weather gives and don't mind random rainstorms coming out of nowhere, then by all means, you can always change it to a shader pack. Then we have chat links. Chat links changes the vanilla function of links in chat to now transform into hyperlinks, as you'll see here. You'll still be prompted about leaving Minecraft to visit the web URL, meaning an extra level of safety. However, it'll be easier to share links to videos, streams, social posts, memes, and more. So this goes to my Blue Sky profile, which you should totally go check me out on. You can also copy it to your clipboard if you want to put it into any sort of site verification service first. And finally, in addition to the chat links mod, we have a funny mod. With chat links, you can also be pinged thanks to the Pingspam mod, like on Discord, but in Minecraft. If I go into chat and I type in @StarlitBell, hi, you can have one unread message, and it highlights in blue in chat and gives you a little bell notification. This will actually persist through logins, and it will say you have one unread message, and you'll have to type /notifications in order to see your unread messages before it goes away. Thanks to Pingspam, this nightmare is now going to become a reality, because the game will certainly let you know when you are missing out on a ping notification. Next, we'll talk about some of the cool, but not entirely consequential mods. We have more slab stairs and walls, aka more blocks. More blocks does as the title says, as we'll have wall, stair, and slab types of the game that are missing. Some silly, like slime, but also some useful ones, like magma and lights. These can be useful for base traps, for lighting, whatever you need them for. And some should genuinely already be in the game, like extra quartz variants underneath this menu. There's a bunch to choose from, and they'll all help you out on your journey. Like quartz brick slabs. Why don't we have those, Mojang? Why don't we have those? Next, we have the Hamsters mod. Hamsters are these adorable little creatures that will spawn in plains and flower fields and can be tamed with wheat seeds from the grass around you. Crouching and right-clicking with empty hands allows you to pick them up and carry them around with you. They're adorable, and they'd be lovely to keep directly in your back pocket and bring right on home with you. In a similar vein as you've seen flying around, we actually have the Blissful Butterflies mod as well. These cannot be tamed, but using a butterfly net, you can actually catch them and bring them wherever you want. So as you can see here, don't mind the hallucination, this lets you bring them around and put them in a terrarium you design. Find them in biomes similar to hamsters, like this one. Finally, we have dice. Dice allows you to roll dice of varying colors, as you can see here, with a random determination each time. If I break up some of the grass for you, and they'll vanish over time. This can be useful for in-game D&D-like campaigns, custom board games, casinos, and more. I'd love to see someone use this and Bing Bing Wahoo to make Mario Party in the pack, so if that's something you'd like to make, tag me in it. I'd love to see it. Now we're getting into the really big stuff. These are the changes to the game that are grand, that will influence how you play the game across the board. Firstly, as you can see, the leaves have changed color since I cut the footage. This is the Seasons mod, plus some compatibility mods for it. Fabric Seasons has been added. This changes how your world operates by setting it on a seasonal schedule. Some things won't grow during the winter, or will grow faster during the spring or summer. With the extra mods added, you'll see these effects branch out. Farmer's Delight and Croptopia, which we'll get to in just a little bit, are affected by this slow growth. Leaves and grass and terralith biomes will change colors. Season's Extras gives you a greenhouse to cultivate crops during harsh winters and a calendar to count the days, as you can see here in my inventory. It's currently fall, days left until winter. Season's HUD will allow you to see what day of season it is over by the map once we get it working. So, use all of these to your advantage in order to be able to grow your crops actively and protect them from the harsh winters. Speaking of Croptopia, we have that too finally. Expand your diet alongside Farmer's Delight, which now has cross support for recipes. Grow fields of ultra diverse crops, and challenge yourself to become the greatest farmer to live on your world's server. Collect them all. There are a ton of them, as you can see from this menu, to find and grow, and a ton of foods to cook alongside it using those materials. Then we have Mythic Metals. Mythic Metals and Alloy Forgery add a ton of new metals to craft within the game, and new recipes resulting from them. This is a selection of some of the ores that you can find around the overworld and in the Nether, and I believe there are some that are even found inside of the End Dimension. Will you scavenge the small chunks near the surface, or brave the plunge to the bottom in search of the strongest metals, perhaps even the elusive unobtainium, made for the toughest things that the game can throw at you? And if you continue beneath the normal depths, all the way down to below -64, you'll be welcomed to the Infinity Cave. The Infinity Cave is a mod that adds a series of never-ending caves beneath the normal cave levels in your world. These Infinity Caves stretch on into the endless void and go on for aeons. Brave them and the challenges that they bring to your world. It's a mystic world with rare statues and statuses. Find the structures, signs of an ancient life that once died in these caves. Will you walk in their path of success, or will you trudge along in the path of their doom? Finally, we have FTB questing. I am filming this little recording at 6 a.m. I've been up for hours working on the finishing touches, and the moment I go to Modrinth to upload the pack, FTB questing and other FTB mods are not allowed on Modrinth. I have no idea why. They gave a vague list of reasons as to why I could not be allowed, and I will abide by them so that ways the automod will let me actually upload it for review. If you want to play with the FTB questing, which I show off in the next segments, download the Google Drive version, which should be out immediately, as well as the alternate version. Or if you don't mind those and are willing to wait for me to implement something like Heracles, then just go for the Modrinth version. Thank you. This is experimental and not fully implemented. This is a very bare bones testing quest that should be available to you when you start out. As you can see right here, if I scroll around for you, which is a showcase of my current understanding of the quest system. This will guide you through the first steps of your average Minecraft experience, from wood planks to iron armor, and all the way up to your first diamonds, with steps all the way to introduce you to the mechanics featured in the base game that are expanded upon using the mods that we have added. This system will be much more fleshed out in a much later future update in which the full quest tree will be implemented. This work will begin after receiving feedback on the mod selection and balancing, and after an extensive break from development of the main pack to work on my own server and projects next year. TLDR, expect more news on the quest tree to come out around next summer when I have a little more time to myself to work on it, because it takes a while. And, well, that's the end. Literally. Welcome to Stellarity, this version's pack of the grander adventure. After gathering the eyes and gearing up, you'll find yourself in a new version of the struggle between you and the dragon. Sacrificial Ritual. As you can see here, you'll need to defeat each of the crystals that the dragon holds in order to be able to take the dragon down. The dragon is invulnerable until you defeat all the crystals. The dragon will drop new items for you, the Tamaris and the Ender Insignia. You can go home, or you can choose to go out and find the new end gateway that spawns once you defeat the dragon, as seen over here off in the distance. And upon entering this gateway, you will be transported to a strange new dimension. Once conquered by the hero of the Null, the expanse before you now has been reclaimed in their inexplicable absence. Their Tower of Well-Kept Secrets is but an anomalous sighting. Roam the void. Make usage of the anchors from earlier editions and the void's forgiving nature. Use what lies within at home to finally unlock your freedom to roam the world and build your masterpieces. Piece together what remains before your time runs out. Will you play this game, or will it finally play you? Welcome, new hero. Your journey awaits. I hope you have all enjoyed this series, whether this is your first interaction, or you're one of the fans who has kept me going ever since the success of the first episode. Thank you. I have a playlist that will include this video if you'd like to look upon the other features of this pack. I also encourage you to check me out on my other videos if you want to see more of me. You can find this mod pack fully completed, if not at the release of this video, then soon after in the description on Modrinth, on its own dedicated page. I'd like to take this time for this last segment to thank some people. To my beloved partner Mitty, thank you for supporting me on everything, including this. I wouldn't be anywhere near here without you and all that you've done for me. To Lane, my dear friend and inspiration for this journey, thank you. Your work on such a small and personal tweak pack for the game inspired my documentation and this whole journey. You've encouraged me to chase the stars, and I won't be stopping until I can bring a whole radiant galaxy back to you. To the members of the Starry Skies SMP, thank you to all of you who stuck around after the unfortunate May closing. I see a bright possible future for the server, and this time, I won't let it get away and let any of you down. The wait will be worth it. To my other friends, thank you for supporting me through the times of this project. To my lovely monetary backers, thank you for your contributions towards this and many of my other series and projects. And to all of you who have subscribed and supported me so far on this journey, well, a massive thank you is owed. So thank you for everything. Till next time, I've been Bellflower, and I'll be seeing you around. Bye-bye. Oh, you're still here? Ah, well, if you're so persistent, I might as well send you home with something to gnaw on. Here, take this. You're gonna want to rest on it for some time. And this. You're probably gonna need it sooner or later. Now go along before I get impatient and kick you out myself.